knowing the things that I experienced as a kid and, some of the things that you experienced as a kid around the holidays, we like mixed them together and we just realized like we needed to do holidays a little differently and we need to do what works for our family. Okay, hello truth tellers, and welcome back to the ADHD Scapegoat podcast where we discuss everything ADHD and scapegoating. I'm Angie.
I'm Jeremy.
Today we're going to discuss how to manage the holidays in an ADHD family.
Oh, this is going to be a doozy.
Yep. So, some things that happen due to holiday festivities for everyone, really, but we really have to pay attention to them due to managing our ADHD symptoms daily. So there's excitement, right? Presents, expectations, seeing people we don't see very often. It's like something different, which novelty for the ADHD brain. Woo, woo, woo. So fun. Fun sweatshirts, things like that. So
some of our podcast audience cannot see your sweatshirt.
Oh, true. Sorry.
It's an NSYNC.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If you know, you know. It's my fave.
Some great haircuts on that sweatshirt.
Oh boy. So with the excitement, there's also less sleep. So makes it even harder to fall asleep with ADHDers, not only because you had excitement all day, but then the anticipation portion of it.
What's going to happen tomorrow?
Right. Less structure because no school. There's so many days with no school within the month November through February. There's so much time off.
There's 5 days of school.
It's just a lot. A lot of days where they're not in school. And routines are vital. So, routines, to everybody, but they're vital to our ADHD family. We need them, we fight them, we need them, we fight them, right?
Right.
Then comes the sugar.
More cookies, more pie,
right.
more candy canes.
Right. Traveling is another thing. Packing. Long drives in the car, sometimes with snow, boredom, which is painful, actually painful for the ADHD brain. There's overstimulation. Kind of goes along with the excitement, but, maybe there's loud music, too many people in a room, there's
everything has
many gifts, or
everything has lights on it.
Right. Everything. There's so much to look at.
More
right?
People.
Yes. Yeah. More people. Too many people. There's also the side where with ADHD you have a hard time relaxing. You have so many ideas. You're go, 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 go. Like we talk about our kids. They're like shot out of a cannon until they fall asleep at night.
5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Until 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Is nonstop.
And usually they will sleep pretty soundly now. We have them on a pretty good routine. But again,
yeah,
it's still, there's so many ideas. They're constantly changing. You just go, go, go. And that's, same with me now. But so new people if you're meeting new people or, like I said, people you haven't seen, there's a social anxiety that kicks in. We struggle with rejection sensitive dysphoria, which I do. So we talked about that in another episode where I would always question our social outings and stuff. So that happens a lot more at this time of year.
For professionals with ADHD, there are company holiday parties that
right.
you have to endure, right? So you're seeing people that you're not normally interfacing with. In my situation, I'm work from home, and so I see people that I don't see sometimes all year in a very close setting. I don't have ADHD, but I'm saying for the just even social anxiety aspect of it,
right?
There are a lot more opportunities to interact with people that you don't normally interact with.
Right. And then the last thing that we'll go over is like extended family. So maybe they don't understand ADHD or may offer some harmful advice or a negative comment, right?
Right, which really the extended family is all of those things that you just listed. It's more excitement because they don't normally see them.
Right.
Maybe they want to let the kids, if they go stay with my parents, for example, the kids always stay up later. There is less structure. Oh, well, you're at grandma and grandpa's house, or we're at aunt and uncle's house, and so it's
have fun,
whatever, have an extra cookie, who cares? And meanwhile, you and I are looking at each other like, I'm gonna strangle this person if they give them one more piece of candy or whatever.
Oh, we've hit our limit.
Sometimes it's karaoke machines at 7 o'clock instead of winding down for night. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah. No, those are good. Those are good examples. I wanted to also mention, being the ADHD scapegoat in my family, holidays were good and bad. They were always really confusing to me because I would be really excited for the holidays. And I now understand, because that's when I knew everyone had to put on a good show in front of others, so they would be a little bit nicer to me, usually. I would get too excited in their mind, or happy about a gift, or excited about a game we played, and I would hear, be quiet, other people want to enjoy the game too, right? So then when I'm not bopping around, being happy and energetic, then I was pouting or whining or not grateful. So I couldn't win. Then in other circumstances, I'd be like bullied by my brother and would go to tell my parents. He wouldn't let me play with them, which I felt like was always what was happening. He wouldn't let me participate. And I would just be met with, can't you just go play like everyone else? Why do you always have to be so dramatic? And different versions of that same message. So the goalpost was always moving and I couldn't win. So yes, I had this excitement and they were going to be a little bit nicer to me, but I also had to be happy but not too happy, and grateful but not too showy. Make sure I didn't show any negativity or any unhappiness or any... Don't say you don't like a food. My goodness, you can't do that. You know, those types of things that blow my mind now as a parent, right?
And that had to have been exhausting for you.
Exhausting, and especially as a kid. Those are natural things that kids do as they grow. Like, it is age-appropriate behavior to allow your kid to learn and let them become who they are. And I was not allowed that. I had to act like an adult without anyone guiding me to what that looked like either. It was just, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Whatever you're doing is wrong.
You still get excited about games.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm competitive and you're competitive, which is super, it's really fun.
It is. So here are some of our tips that we've learned over the years that I feel like are going to evolve as well as our kids grow and as our needs change, which I think is also something to point out, is like, expect things to change, especially as your kids are growing up. And sometimes it's hard because it's like you finally get something that works and it works for like 2 weeks and that's it. And you have to come up with something new,
right?
That might work. But in keeping the communication open between us and our kids, I feel like we've been able to shift and change things that we've done a lot more seamlessly now.
Definitely.
Okay.
So these are
the tips for supporting the ADHD brains. And by the way, when you're supporting the ADHD brains, you're supporting all the brains.
During the holidays.
Yes, during the holidays, because everyone benefits from these
absolutely.
supports.
Absolutely.
So knowing the things that I experienced as a kid and, some of the things that you experienced as a kid around the holidays, we like mixed them together and we just realized like we needed to do holidays a little differently and we need to do what works for our family. So the first thing, sleep. So we know our kids wake up at the same time every morning, no matter what time they go to bed. It's early. It's 5:36. We encourage to stay in bed until 6, but it doesn't always happen, and they can't help it.
Right, they can't help
They're
it.
They're awake, right?
And on Christmas, at Christmas, I couldn't sleep either. So now it's the anticipation of Christmas with the struggle of sleep for an ADHD brain is just...
And I always felt like I fell asleep well as a kid. Like I fell asleep fine, but it was the waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to fall back to sleep, and then just the straight waking up early. So what we found is keeping them close to their normal bedtime as much as possible is key for us managing behaviors, because sleep is always the first indicator of how the day will go for everyone, but especially kids with ADHD. Our medication isn't as effective when we don't sleep. Our emotions are so much heavier, deeper, stronger when we don't sleep. And your impulsivity is going to be at its highest because the idea, I'm too tired, just do it, kind of a thing, might lead you down a positive path, but it also can steer you wrong.
And when your kids sleep,
right,
you sleep,
right,
which allows you to manage all of it. I mean, that's not just for an ADHD brain. All of those things that you just said, that the emotions are heavier, that your impulsivity is at its highest. That goes for the neurotypical brain as well.
Right.
When you have lack of sleep and you're reacting to things that are happening around you from other people that have lack of sleep, it's just it's a negative experience all around.
Yeah, and it's why we worked so hard with sleeping schedules and allowing one of us to be the point person for getting up at certain times and things like that, to try to make sure we all got as much sleep as we possibly could, and also knowing when we don't get sleep, how you're aware of it. You're aware that you didn't get enough sleep. You communicate it, and you listen to your body to say, hey, I'm tired today. I'm not going to push myself too far. Or if I start to get frustrated, I'm going to take a breath. Whatever. We implement those all the time.
Absolutely. Constantly evolving. All of these.
So the second thing is routine. So the no school, sometimes 2 weeks at a time, plus you're doing things you don't do on a daily basis as part of their routine. Like events, get-togethers, shopping, like cooking and baking along with other people. They aren't at home with their things that help them cope when they get stressed out. So something we do is we make sure to pack things that they will enjoy or want to do at some point during the day or the trip, whatever we're packing for. And we always let them know what the plan is ahead of time so that they can mentally prepare, ask them what they want to bring, and then help them come up with some ideas, like if they're not sure. Sometimes we have to say, oh, we can't bring that today because that's an inside toy and it'll get ruined because we're going to be outside. Or, what other things?
Even if it's a game that they like to play at night, that's something,
right.
If we like to play Ocean Bingo at night.
Love Ocean Bingo.
We can take that when we go for Thanksgiving or Christmas someplace else, so that when it gets to be that time of night, the witching hour, whatever, wind down time, we can pull out Ocean Bingo and say, hey, let's play. Now you're incorporating other people, which adds to the level of excitement, but then it's fun for our kids because they get to show someone else something that they really love.
And they always come home saying, I can't believe we got to play, Ocean Bingo with this person,
Right.
That's the first time they've ever played it, or it's really cute.
Yeah. So creating these mini vacation routines within a schedule that is out of the normal routine.
Right. So the excitement is number 3. It's great, and it's also followed by a natural coming down from the excitement. Anxiety goes along with excitement, so meeting new people or not seeing people for a long time and seeing them again. Our littlest guy gets really shy, and he takes a while to warm up to people. And we let him take his time and take it at his own pace. And
I was that way when I was a kid too. I was shy until I warmed up, and then I was probably too comfortable, just loud and rambunctious because I was excited that other new people, or let me show you some of my tricks type of thing. But I was shy. A family friend dressed up as Santa Claus and came to our house to surprise us on Christmas Eve, and I locked myself in the bathroom until he left. It wouldn't come out, and there was no warming up. Santa Claus was at my house while I was awake, which was not cool, bro. I'm in the bathroom.
I don't blame you. I think that what I did was I would be loud and, excited and like overly friendly. And then if I sensed that someone was like mean, I would be quiet with them. I would distance myself from them. But for the most part, I was like the welcoming committee, like Wyatt is.
God, I say this to you all the time, but I really wish I knew little Angie. I think little Angie and little Jeremy would have gotten along.
Oh, man.
We would have had some fun.
Yeah, we would have.
And we're going to a roller skating party this weekend, and we've discussed this too, that you and I both used to frequent Skateland in Franklinville, New York, when we were youths. And we were certainly there at the same time.
I mean, I'm sure.
I feel like I would have.
On a Monday where we didn't have school and it was like the 1 to 4 skate or whatever, you had to have gone.
And I certainly would have noticed a bodacious babe like yourself.
I was not that, but okay. So we have conversations with other adults to explain our boundaries around our kids, whether they're being shy or they're being, whatever behavior like naturally comes up. We'll have conversations about, we don't force hugs and we don't make the kids feel bad about how they respond to a new situation. And that's why we try to have these conversations with them ahead of time to let them know what we're doing. We show them pictures of people that we know are going to be there. We go with them to introduce them to new people. If they feel like being by themselves, we show them where they can go to have some time alone. That's something we definitely have to do.
They
this year
do
with
that.
Otis, because he gets to his max of people time and he needs some alone time. And so he'll say, I am going to go record a song. And he'll do that.
Right.
But I think allowing them to just let us know and set up expectations allows them to manage as well. And then they also know they can come, like we'll say to them, if you're uncomfortable, let us know. If something is bothering you, just let us know. but just open communication around that. So sugar is the next thing. The sugar. So Halloween candy, coffee cake at Thanksgiving, cookies at Christmas. I mean, it just keeps going, and we try to limit how much sugar they take on a daily basis, but we also don't shame them for wanting sweets.
No, and they're good at self-limiting to a point. I think maybe now they know that if they ask for candy all day, they're not going to hear a lot of yeses. But
right.
I think they just kind of know, after I've had protein in the morning, maybe I can have a piece of Halloween candy. And then when they get home from school, maybe they can have a piece of Halloween candy. But that's really the sugar that they have. I know it's different when you're out of your routine and you're home all day. So now you may ask for it in the morning, one at lunchtime, one at night. So it increases a little bit. But our kids, I think, have been conditioned to understand that the more sugar that they have, the more potential there is for their bodies to be out of control.
Right.
And they don't necessarily like when that happens. So
well, and it's just a way that
self-regulate
we're not setting them up for success.
Right.
Because when they are given too much sugar and then they're out of control, bouncing off the walls, or, not able to pause and hear, because that's part of it when you're playing and you're like going with all of this activity happening, they genuinely can't hear you sometimes. So it's not really their fault if we gave them all this sugar.
Right.
And it's also something that we need to say, hey, if you have this sugar, make sure we're listening to our bodies. And if you feel like you're out of control, or you feel like you're struggling, or you're getting frustrated, or, like they're fighting with each other, we need to pause, take a deep breath, or else we can't really have those treats.
And we set reasonable expectations at the beginning of the day. If they have breakfast and ask for something, yes, you can have a small piece of candy now, but please remember that we're not going to have any more candy for the day. Or yes, you can have that now, and if you want to have something after school or later this afternoon, you can ask for that, but we're not going to eat candy all day. That way they're not, if we don't set that expectation and then they ask every other hour throughout the whole day, then that's just little spikes of disappointment throughout the whole day. Now they know, okay, I can have candy in the morning and maybe a little bit at night.
Well, and there's the other part too that's kind of like unheard of, where from when we were growing up, you don't have candy for breakfast or right after breakfast. There's no time for candy. I will eat chocolate first thing in the morning, and for me to tell my child that no, you can't have candy first thing in the morning, it's like, well, I mean.
You snuck 3 Milky Ways when you were making waffles. How can you say no?
I didn't really do that. That's just an example. Well, but yeah, no, I mean, I will do that.
Yeah.
So it's not, and that's the thing, there's a balance. When you're not ever allowed to have any sugar, like when I was a kid, it was so rare when we would be allowed to have sugar. It was like never in the house. I would go nuts on it. If I was at a friend's house, if I was at my aunt's house, I would go nuts and then make myself sick because I had no understanding of how my body felt. I just knew that this was something really yummy and I never got it.
I know. I've seen the way that you doctor your ice cream.
I've gotten better. Okay. So the next thing is traveling and packing. So I hate packing, but that's because I spend way too much time trying to make sure that I don't forget things. I pack too much most of the time, like a lot of women, I feel, especially moms, because we have to remember everything for everybody. But I think I expect to have more time to do things that I want to do. So I'll bring multiple books and my computer and maybe some other activity. It's a lot. And then I also don't feel like I can pack before, because I still have to pack the things that I need to use to get ready to leave, which I've gotten better at. I've gotten better at just packing and using. No, I've shifted to where now I will pack ahead of time, and I will pack like the toiletries or whatever I have to bring, and I will keep them in the packed, whether it's my little poof bag thing or in the suitcase, and use it the morning and just put it right back where I got it. And before, my brain wouldn't do that, refused to do that. It had to be like a process. And I would pack from, my checklist would be from my toes all the way up to my head. And I just okay, I need this. But I had to do it the night before if it was a super early morning or the day of. But
you taught me that when we just went on vacation at the end of summer. Pack from and that was the first time. I don't know if you said you've been doing that for years, but
I've been doing that forever. Yeah.
That was the first time that I had heard it, and I thought, wow, this is great. It allows me to not forget stuff, because usually it's a free-for-all.
Well, the last thing you want to be doing is going and buying me socks because I forgot all my socks.
Oh, that's happened.
Yeah. So where was I? I have to go back. Oh, and laundry. That's another thing that makes packing hard, is because if all the laundry's not done, then I can't pack. So now I have a checklist that I've used on other trips, multiple trips, and I just kind of update it each time. Because it's not like we travel a lot, but to check off everything as we go for each of us. And then we can also check it off with bringing things back, because going somewhere, especially if we're going somewhere, far, having to have someone ship something because we forgot it, it's just a pain for everyone. So I know sometimes it just happens, but when you're in a rush, but I try. So how do you pack?
The opposite of you. Because I feel like our theories on packing are in direct opposition. So you feel like you need to pack the day of, so the morning that we're going to leave, you'll pack.
Because it allows, it's like the last minute adrenaline thing where I won't overthink it and pack too much. I'll pack exactly what I need. And
right, but you say, usually when I'm asking you, hey, can we pack? Your answer is, if I pack tonight, I'll forget something. My thought process is, if I wait until the day of to pack, I will forget something.
Right.
And so we kind of I pack the night before, you pack the morning of, and it works. Sometimes we pack together. You have modified, I've modified, where I'll do it the morning of. You've done it where we've done it the night before. I think when we went on vacation, that's when we were going through our checklist.
Right.
Feet to head, packing backwards.
Yeah, and that's also when I started implementing just using things out of the bag. I think for me, it's more about the dread of spending too much time on it. I know it shouldn't take me that long to pack, and I know it's not necessary. It's part of some of my OCD stuff in the perfectionism these are coping mechanisms that I learned through my childhood trauma. So knowing that I want to break out and not expect everything to be perfect, I try to give myself less time, so I'm kind of forced to rush it and not perfect it. Does that explain it better? Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I just don't enjoy packing at all. And I think part of the mindset is I don't want to spend too much time on it either. I just want to get it done so I don't have to think about it anymore. And there is, I see your, reasoning behind the potential to forget something.
Yeah,
if you do it the night before, then you start to kind of think, oh, did I pack that thing? Having your checklist, though, that's a game changer.
Right.
You make the list mentally, you write it down, and then you pack it and you check it off as you go. Then it's impossible to forget something.
Well, and sometimes if we're checking it off together or checking things off for the kids, we'll say, oh, did you remember this? Oh, did you? And we just totally remind ourselves. So I think our list is pretty solid now because over time we've just added things to it. And then, like we said earlier, like when the kids, we let them bring what they want to bring. We just add that as we're going so that it can come back with us as well. The second part of that is traveling.
Yeah.
So traveling in the car for long hours, boredom kicks in, and boredom is kryptonite for ADHD brains. So we give our kids their devices. They have neck pillows for when they want to sleep. We let them request music sometimes, or they can use their own headphones to listen to whatever they want to. And then we get to listen to a Dateline podcast, maybe, if they're sleeping with headphones on. But only if we get lucky. But recently my sister got Wyatt some Mad Libs, like, 3 of them?
Yeah.
And we've been taking them on our last couple road trips, and it's been hilarious.
Yeah,
the stuff we come up with. And we'll usually do like 1 or 2, and then they go back to doing something else. But it breaks up the trip, and it's really fun. And their creativity and...
Yeah, their creativity. They're both readers, so they're helping tell a story or craft a story, so it's fun and engaging for them. I know that's probably not ideal for every family, but it really works in our family, helps pass the time and distract them for a little bit because they're also strapped in their car seats. They can't move their bodies. They can wiggle around, but we can stop at rest stops, but that's not, you can't.
Well, and Wyatt just figured out how to recline his chair now that he doesn't have a car seat. So that's been clutch.
Yeah.
But
I Spy is a good one too.
Yeah.
We do a lot of I Spy, the alphabet game, colors.
Yeah, when they want to take a break but they don't know what they want to do, they'll say, I want a snack. So snacks are important too, but they'll say I want a snack, and then I don't know what to do. Those things naturally come up, and so we'll do I Spy or that rainbow car game.
Yeah, you have to see you have to spot cars in rainbow order.
Right. And once you do, then you move on to the next one.
Which is surprising. It takes longer than you think it will when you're on an interstate, even if you're passing car lots or whatever. Finding a purple car or an orange car is tricky sometimes. Yeah. So it's a fun challenge.
Yeah, it takes a while. But on the snacks, our kids naturally, they focus on something, they forget to eat, or their medication does suppress their appetite a little bit. So we kind of let them eat whenever they're hungry, whether it's, little snacks every couple of hours. So yes, have the snacks in the car, but it also is like a now or not now. Like, no, I wasn't hungry 5 minutes ago when you asked when we were at the rest stop, but I'm hungry right now and I'm starving, and that happens. So I think just giving a snack or having a healthy snack or having a bunch of variety of snacks, maybe things that they didn't even know that you had in there, so they're kind of surprised by it, is, super. I keep saying, sorry, I'll stop. But another part of that, PS for anyone who does give medication to their kids, make sure if you're going to be driving during a time when you need to take medication, you have it in a place where you can reach it without having to stop and search around for it. I think we made that mistake once and it never happened again because I was so annoyed.
Yeah, keep it in the glove box, keep it in the center console, keep it in your purse, in your backpack, whatever, at your feet. But having to stop to then find it in your trunk or the back of the SUV is a huge pain.
Yeah. So that's a big one. Okay, we have 2 more here. So burnout, we mentioned earlier that we have a hard time relaxing. And when we do, sorry, my needle ball. So when we actually collapse on the couch and we look like we're doing nothing, we're overwhelmed, we're burnt out. So we're either exhausted from traveling, lack of sleep, excitement, socializing, noise sensitivity, not being in your own bed, right? All the things. And we become so overwhelmed that now we have the ADHD holiday blues. And it looks like we're just being lazy from the outside. But the reality is that people with ADHD are at higher risk to develop depression. The scapegoating, negative messaging, and being misunderstood are a few things that bring that to the forefront. But I talked about the ADHD holiday anxiety. For me, it's a lot around OCD and perfectionism, wanting to make this holiday perfect. It's higher during this time because you want to be able to enjoy those moments. You want things to feel good. You want to have those memories, and you push and push and push to make it so sometimes. And you lean into those perfectionist tendencies, and then you're burnout. Because then you can't do anything right. Then you come down, I can't do anything right because no one's perfect, and you just get all mad, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
I think you're perfect.
I know you do. You're so sweet. So what we do to counter that is we work on minimizing the stressors by discussing the things ahead of time, like we talked about. We talk about things that may exhaust us. We will go through scenarios. Like, if this happens, then we will do this. If this person says this, we will do this. If it's, too noisy, we will go here. If the kids are completely out of control, we'll go for a walk. Whatever the situation is, we kind of walk through those scenarios so that we're on the same page. And
it helps a lot.
And if one of us wakes up and we're tired, didn't get enough sleep, we tell each other.
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
Yeah, it was great.
It was essential.
Yeah.
And then I turned it around and I felt great somehow, but I think...
But think about that. If you held on to that and didn't talk about it and just felt like, I'm tired today, so I'm letting everyone down because I don't have my normal amount of energy. I'm not
then I'm just going to
fully engaged.
Grumpy, and nobody wants
then
that.
You get grumpier as the day goes on. So if you wake up feeling tired or feeling off or still overwhelmed from the day before, right?
Yeah, having a contingency plan, it makes my anxiety level go way down. Because I don't have ADHD, but I have anxiety, and it definitely spikes in the holiday season because of all of the things that we just listed: extended family, expectations of we have to be here at this time and we have to be there for this many hours, and having those plans in place ahead of time helps manage that anxiety.
Well, and we'll communicate if I might need a little bit more help with this today.
Absolutely.
Or, my neck is sore. I might need to stand more today.
Right.
We talk to the kids too about it. Hey, you didn't get a ton of sleep last night. So we need to listen to ourselves, and if we're starting to feel out of control, use that pause button.
Yeah, it might be a little harder to listen today. So
right. If you start to feel like you're getting frustrated, take a pause. Take a breath. So we talk to them about how they can support their brain based on, how they were stressed. And then last one is boundaries. So boundaries around being misunderstood or dealing with extended family members that don't get it. That used to be a huge struggle for us. But we've gotten so much better at advocating for our kids and ourselves while also communicating in an effective way. And I think with all the work that we've done, we've been able to see the difference when someone's just making like a quick assumption, meaning to no harm, just like saying something, just like unconsciously word vomit, right?
Right.
Versus someone who's attacking us out of ignorance and has their own issues. We don't really put ourselves in situations to be around those people if we can help it.
But it happens, and like you said, it doesn't happen as often now, or we're prepared for those scenarios because you and I talk about it. But for people who aren't around ADHD kids all the time, for example, they will ask questions or, say things that may throw us a little bit, but we're always open to those questions and to have conversations about if someone asks, why do they have to take their pill at this time? Can't they just take it later? Or why do they have to take it at all? We're fine. We're having fun. Why do they have to go? Why can't they stay up until 10 o'clock? Or why can't they have one more piece of pie?
Right.
It's easy for us now to have those conversations and educate them about how all of those things can affect their symptoms, and that's how that's not setting them up for success.
Right.
And the reasons that we have limitations on some things is just so that they can enjoy their day.
Right.
And not have the stress of, I really wanted an extra bowl of ice cream, so I got to have it, and then they're out of control, and something breaks or someone gets hurt, or they have a meltdown because they
feel bad.
Right. And then they feel bad,
And I think sometimes that comes from a place of we're trying to minimize their fun or their enjoyment, whereas we're trying to actually maximize the enjoyment for everyone if we're supporting our kids the way they need it, not the way they necessarily want to eat all the sugars and stay up all night, right?
Exactly.
So that was really well done, Jer. Bravo.
Wow.
But all those things are how we stay and we can be a supportive team, and the family members or friends that we're around that are open, there aren't being abusive, they're open to learning and understanding, we're able to have those safe conversations and explain, this is why we're doing this is what works for them, or whatever the situation may be. And it's kind of funny because I have a hard time even coming up with a way to explain it in a confrontational way because I haven't had to do it in a while. So that feels good.
Hats off to us.
I know, that feels good. So our self-reflection question to end today is, what boundaries can you set to make holidays with your ADHD child less stressful and more memorable? Till next time.